Yeah, hi everyone, it's Rob here. I've been away for a bit. I'm back now. I'm just going to do a video. I was going to say quick, but my videos are never quick. Just a video about the GoPro Hero 4 Silver that I've just acquired. Now, just quick update, I do have a bunch of Surface Pro 3 videos with Windows relating to Windows 10 coming up. I will do those. I did about 3 hours in one long video and then deleted it because I thought no one wants to see that. So out it goes, and I'm going to try to do it in bits and pieces. Have a look for that as soon as I can get it done. In the meantime, I acquired this camera because I quite like watching some of the motorbike video bloggers. And I'm going to be going out on my motorbike soon as summer comes. On this end of the world, it's just coming up, and I'd quite like to capture some of that as well, capture the experience and just share it with people who care. Now, I'm going to set it up on a separate channel on my YouTube account. I'm not sure how that what happens with my current subscribers, but basically I don't want to pollute this sort of techie channel with stuff about motorbikes, so I want to keep that separate. If anyone wants to see that, they can see it. I'm hoping it doesn't, you people who subscribe to this don't get a whole lot of stuff about motorbikes. We'll see how that works in any case. So I just wanted to go over this. I mean, these have been reviewed to death here on YouTube, these heroes, but I just wanted to go over, I wanted to do an unboxing, and I wanted to go over my process, my thought process for buying this, just in case it helps people. I'm going to say I'm going to say this might be a long video. If you don't like long videos and you don't like ums and ahs, and I'm not going to edit it, I haven't got time, so it's just going to be uploaded as is. Don't watch the video. This is not for people who only want 2-minute videos. There's plenty of those here on YouTube, so go watch one of those. Alright, so let's get moving. This is the Hero 4 Silver Edition. Now, my first steps towards getting a new camera were, can I use it for everything? I started using, because this camera I'm using right now, which is a Logitech, an older webcam 9 something or other, terrible thing, but funnily enough it's better than the more recent models of the same camera. So, but it only does 720p and is not very good, and I have to use a separate mic. So then I started, because I kept getting bad videos out of this, I started using my phone, my Nokia Lumia 920, which does great video, and I'd strap it up here in front of my face and point it at my desk. That does good video, and although the mic is sort of here and I'm sort of near it, the sound was never very good, and of course you can't have a separate mic in one of these, so that's also, and it's really inconvenient to do. And the last video I did, last two I did, what happens is it fills up while I'm still busy filming, and then it stops and it says, okay, this is running out. I'm like, oh, for God's sakes. So I want something that can take lots and lots of video and perhaps serve the purpose of doing my bike, which is a motorbike. Of course, I can't really use the phone for that. I mean, I can prop it up while I'm kickstarting the bike, as I did the other day. That works, but that's it. I can't use it as a camera while I'm riding, so it doesn't really work for that. So it's got to be some kind of camera like this. I was hoping to use it for my desktop work as well, but after looking at all the specs of these kinds of cameras, there's so many limitations. It's just crazy. And I sort of figured out there is no camera that does it all. There just isn't. So there are other action cameras. One problem with all action cameras, all of these things, they're great for sticking it on your head, pointing it forwards, and then it'll video whatever's in front of you. It does that because they're a super wide angle lens, and in fact it's pretty much fisheye. It's a fisheye lens because the horizon, the straight lines curve. It's a fisheye lens. And so you point it in the general direction, does something like 120 degrees, and you get it all in. That's fine. If you want to, that is unsuitable for desktop use, like right here. I need something that's 50 degrees or 60 degrees, something like that, for desktop use. And although I looked into whether these can be narrowed down like a phone camera can, just to use the center of the CCD, and they can, but it turns out they don't focus either. These are a fixed focus lens. And because they're a fixed focus lens, they're typically focused on about 1 meter, which at the super wide settings, which is what it is, gives you proximate focus. It looks like it's in focus from very close to pretty far away, but it's not actually in focus. It is actually out of focus. And it becomes more apparent if you zoom in to the cut your CCD down and effectively work it like a zoom. It'd be very obvious. So it's not really any use for desktop. I'm going to try it just for fun. Plus I can't have things distorted, with the super wide. It's not going to be used for that. So for my desktop, at the moment I'm back to my webcam, which is just going to have to do. And I'll have to get something else, something like a video camera with a zoom lens that I can plug in, and I need a good mic on it, and so on and so forth. I'll have to figure out what I do for that. So with that, usage out of the way, I was back to being able to concentrate on using it just for, say, the motorbike or external things. I want to be able to use it when I'm working on the bike on certain things, so I can show what I'm doing, and use it when I'm out riding, talk about things on the go. And of course, the GoPros are the most popular, but there are others as well. And these are quite expensive. Over here they're quite a lot, and I don't want to buy the old one, I want to buy the current one, the Hero 4. And there's two versions really, the silver and the black. First thing was to eliminate other cameras, because there's Polaroids, there's Sonys, and there's all kinds of other action cameras. Now the big drawback with all of them is no microphone input. They all just have a mic, a little hole on the body. That's your mic. I mean, that may be fine for surfing and screaming at the camera when it's pointed at your ugly face, but not for a motorbike. If you're trying to talk, you need a mic in your helmet, and it needs to be plugged into the camera, which is outside your helmet. Otherwise, it's just wood noise. And so, as it turns out, the GoPros are really the only ones with the ability to accept an external mic. Now, the later GoPros here, so that sort of negated all of the other cameras all at once, the Polaroids and so on, which can do 1080p, and they're quite cheap, and I thought that would be nice, just get something cheap and do that. Can't use a mic, so out they go. None of them are any use. Now, the current cameras here, they don't have a microphone socket, but they accept mic through a USB to 3.5mm microphone adapter, which you have to buy. Funnily enough, none of the stores where I went to had that adapter. They weren't aware of it. It is in the GoPro catalog, but no one's aware of it. So I'm wondering, what the hell is everyone doing? Is everyone buying these, sticking them on their head, and then finding they can't hear themselves? Maybe they don't talk. I mean, I'll go on and on for hours, but maybe other people don't talk when they're doing their thing. That's possibly the case, but in any case, it's not a common accessory, so I've had to order one of those. I mean, these are everywhere, all the other accessories are everywhere, but the lead is not, and so I've ordered that in. I'm going to get it. It's a short lead, and then I'm going to have to find a microphone, and I'll look for something. It doesn't need to be fancy, something that I can mount inside my helmet and can either be removed easily or can stay there, and I can unplug it and so on. I have to figure out where I'm going to mount this on the helmet as well. I'm sort of leaning towards putting it on the chin area, because up on the side of the helmet, I don't like that angle. It's too high. Yeah, it never looks that great. I think the best is when you can see the bike in front of you, you can see the road, you sort of have a driver's eye view, a little bit lower. That tends to work quite well, so I'm going to try it there and see how that goes. I didn't buy any of the accessories. I'll do that after. Once I've seen what's in the box and what's needed, I'll have a look at that afterwards and go back and get the other bits I need when I pick up the lead, the microphone lead. Okay, so let's unbox this thing. I guess the next decision was between the for black and the for silver, and I went for the silver. Initially I was sort of leaning towards the black after watching reviews on YouTube a couple months ago, and once it came down to it, I decided against it, because one reason is I'm not shooting 4K. This can do 4K, but the black can do it better. I'm not shooting 4K. Once you realize, you know, even 1080p uses so much space on your memory card, and takes so long to upload to YouTube, and it's just exponentially worse than when you go to 4K. It's just impossible, and I don't think anyone needs to see my ugly fingers in 4K resolution, you know. So 1080p is the best you're going to get, if not just 720. So 1080 is fine. That's all I needed, but I wanted it to do it well, you see, because this camera here does 1080p, but it does it do it as 720 quality or something, and it just can't handle it. So I have to do this subpar 720, which it can do with reasonable sort of frame rate. You know, it's okay. It's probably 15 or something like that, or 20, and it can just squeeze it out. But if I go any better quality, it can't handle it, and it slows down dramatically. It's terrible. And so you need a camera that can easily do your desired resolution and frame rate. And so this camera here can easily do 1080p at 30 frames very easily. It has no trouble doing that. Plenty of room to spare. It can do 60 as well very easily. It can do 4K at some frame rate or whatever, I can't remember. Doesn't matter. I'm not interested in that. I was more interested in having the display on the back, which lets you play back instantly and see what you're doing, and I presume it lets you frame as well, because I thought I may occasionally be using the narrowing in of the viewfinder, and I don't want to just miss out on what I'm shooting because I couldn't see what was in the frame. So that's going to be helpful. Most people say that is a boon to using this. That is very useful, and much better than the buttons than so on the other ones. So I think the overall usability of this, the battery life on the black is apparently quite a bit worse than the silver. And that's pretty much the reasoning. This is a little bit cheaper, which was nice. It didn't really matter. But that was it. It's a slightly easier camera to use. Definitely did what I want it to do. And I wasn't paying for something that I wasn't going to use, which was basically just the 4K and then giving up all the other goodies. So let's have a look inside here. That was my reasoning, and that's why I ended up getting the GoPro. And it's really strictly going to be an outdoor camera. I want it for the bike because my bike is quite a rare, special motorbike, and riding it and working on it is sort of an experience, a worthy experience. So I'm going to record some of it for others, and I'm finding there's very, very little footage of this particular bike on YouTube. Very little. Almost none. And so I think if anyone's interested in it, I'll be able to provide that service. Okay, here we go. GoPro. Funny, I resisted buying these for years. I never thought they were that great in the way they were done, but they seem to serve the purpose. So what do? Push down on that? Do we push down or do we lift up on it? Is it push or lift? Remove. Remove, it says. Do you want me to remove that now? I'm just getting stuck trying to get the thing out. Okay, I'm finding that if I spin this, it's not moving easily, so I'm not going to force it. Spin and push, spin and pull. Nope. Remove. That's some sort of spacer. I'll try and remove that. Oh, I see. That goes all the way around to underneath this thing. Maybe it's telling me to remove the whole thing. I should be looking at the user guide if there is one. Can't really see one. One of the other nice things about the GoPro is the little app they make. They make an app that works with Windows Phone and is apparently very good and gives you all the functionality you need. And so I think that's another great way, you know, that can be used to give you the framing and so on. but I can guarantee there's going to be stuffing around getting the app loaded up, getting it hooked up. So it's not a total replacement for the viewfinder on the back, but it will certainly be useful. I'm going to want to use that. Okay, that's off the base. I still can't tell if this is a base that's meant to be removed or if that's permanently attached there. Maybe it's permanently attached. Okay. Let's open up this box. How do we get into boxes these days? Let's go in the bottom, shall we? Forget the top. Let's go in this way. Don't know if you're meant to. Okay, here's all the bits and pieces. I could see from the box that was quite a bit of stuff included with it. And so, depending on what's in there, that would determine what else I needed to get. I'm just trying to spot. I guess there is something in the top there. Oh, a stack of paper. Alright. Worst part of every unboxing is looking at the paperwork. Look at that. How to get started in many, many languages. Okay. Oh yeah, they offer a whole, I'm sure probably through their site they've probably got a whole sort of new user thing where you sign up, get the junk mail, get the app, GoPro software. I wonder what that's like. So there's obviously presumably a video editor for your computer. I didn't realize they actually gave you one of those, but we'll have a look at that. Yeah, we'll have a look at that. I'm not planning on getting heavily into editing. It's basically trim it, and send it to YouTube. That's all I'm trying to do, is trim it. You know, get rid of the bad bits, the boring bits, send the rest to YouTube with as little hassle as possible. And of course the phone app. And then update the camera. Oh. So it has, get the newest features and best performance. So there's obviously a firmware update. Oh, well, that's interesting too. It sounds like there's an online, sort of over the air, over the online, over the USB cable or whatever, firmware updating method. So that's excellent. About the camera and the modes, I'll have a look at that after the video. I'm not going to bore you with all that stuff. Stickers galore. Be a hero. Be a hero. Buy a product and be a hero. Yep. There you go. Yep. What is it? Has it? I buy, therefore I am. Yep. That's the modern age. Okay. Another booklet. What's the difference? Quick start and user manual. Quick start, slow start. Okay. Safety information. More safety information. Warranty and disclaimers. That's funny. It says the same thing up there, but it's a different thing down here. Up here it says safety information guide. There. Strange. Okay, and we have a little tiny battery. Hopefully that will last. And I will just go into the SD card in a moment as well, because that's a problem whenever you're buying something like this, is what do you get for your memory? And those are some stickies for the helmet, because I'm assuming I'm going to have to stick it to my helmet, and if I go for the chin location, well, wherever you stick it on a helmet, it's going to be curved. So that's flat. I noticed some of the accessory ones, there's a box. Oh, that one's curved, sort of. It's got a little bit of a curve in it. Okay. And you can get a bag of these replacements. So that will probably go on my chin somewhere. There's a different back which lets you use the touch display. I did wonder how that was going to work. So it basically is then not in its case. So different back. Oh, and here's another one. Another one. This one feels like it's completely open. And this one feels like it's got a like a screen protector material across it, so you can probably still touch it. Probably should still work, your capacitance through that, but maybe it's still mildly waterproof, or at least splash proof if that's on it. That's probably the case. I mean, even here I can see it's got this, although the seal doesn't go all the way around, so it's not. It'll do for the rain. Okay, what else? These crazy brackets. More brackets. That's the foot. Okay, so that's on my bike. Ooh, very solid, sturdy plastic. I hope there's not one way you can put it in. Okay, and off. Well, not that great, but it'll do. At least they sell, there's an aftermarket business in selling these things. Okay, there's the cable for charging. And let's have a look at the camera now. I won't go into this greatly. I've already sort of covered the reasons, the reasons I bought this already. And so the next time you see this will probably be off the bike. I'll be using it on the bike. Again, I haven't looked at the user manual, and I've never used a GoPro before. But you just push it up. Do you push it up, or do you go sideways? I think you probably push it up. Probably squeeze it and push it up. Yes. I think I'll look at the manual before I do that. In any case, thanks for watching. That's all I wanted to do. That's why I bought the Silver Hero 4 Silver. Was because of the viewfinder, because it did what I wanted it to do, and because it was the only option in order to get, a current device with a microphone. That's really it. That's about it. That's about all you can do. Just one further thing about it. The microphone, the USB microphone adapter thing has to go in here. Nothing works. You can't access anything while it's in this case. So I don't know what people do for audio. They basically, it's probably just muffled. I expect that's the microphone hiding behind there. So I'm probably going to have to get a case that is one of these shells where everything's exposed, and then I can get to the socket, unless I want to ruin this case and drill it open or something. And so that all seems a bit silly and a bit goofy. Don't know why it should work like that, but we'll see how that goes, and I'll report back my experiences. And not sure what that is. I will find out. Don't know. And the card, that was the last thing. I then went to go buy a card. Now that's difficult, and I recommend, if you are buying one of these, go on GoPro's site, look at the list of approved cards. You can't find it through the site, just do a search on Google. GoPro, two things you want to do is recording time, GoPro Hero 4 recording time, and then GoPro Hero 4 cards. And it will give you the two lists on GoPro's sites of the recording times and also the recommended cards. Now the recommended cards are very hard to find in the shop because it doesn't say anything. There have been class 10 cars for years. But what matters is the speed. And I went for a 64 gig because the price was okay. And I thought I can always stick it in my Surface or something if I want to use that card later. It's a good size. This card specifically talks about 4K Ultra HD action cameras, it's all that. But also, if you're trying to find the numbers that they give you on the GoPro site, they're not here anywhere. But look, there's a little picture of an action camera. There's a little picture of a GoPro. There we go, up there. Down here in the by the barcode, that's where the number is, up there. SDS, DQXL, blah blah blah, QA4A. I think it was AA4A were all the ones on the site. It's very hard to tell them apart. They have like 3 or 4 different ones that appear to be identical, but have different packaging, different numbers, and different stuff on the back, but appear to be exactly the same card. It's very strange. So in any case, I went for that one. I went for one of the safe ones. Mid-range price. That's fine. That should work. Definitely don't buy something that's the bottom line 64 gig class 10, because if it's a few years old it probably won't work, and you don't want to waste your money. Alright, I'll leave it there. Thanks for watching. I'll let you know how this goes in one of the later videos. In the meantime, I will try and get some of these Windows 10 videos going, because I got a lot to say about that. Most of it bad. Alright, see ya. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.